Welcome to Raising Private Money, another episode, an amazing episode today. I am Jay Connor, your host, also known as the Private Money Authority. And here on the show, we talk about private money. Can you believe that? Well, my guest today has got a lot of experience in raising millions and millions of dollars in private money. And boy, does he have the credentials and the experience behind his name. First of all, my guest has been named one of the 50 most influential people by City and State magazine, which is out of New York City. And just to give you a thumbnail of his experience, he and his team, they've been involved and closed over 1,500 deals. He and his team have leased out more than 1 million square feet of commercial space. And he's been a part of more than 1 billion, and that's with a B, more than $1 billion in transactional real estate. The types of real estate deals that he has done and does covers the gamut from residential units, multi-mix buildings, retail and office leasing, defaulted notes, land leasing, you name it, he's got the experience. And I tell you, he's got quite a list of big names that he's been a consultant to, which includes Goldman Sachs. Yes, my guest is consulted to Goldman Sachs. And some of his customers, when it comes to retail leasing, he's got the big names. His customer list includes companies such as Nike, Nordstrom Rack, Columbia, Gap, Banana Republic, Brooks Brothers, Walgreens, and you name it. And recently he has launched a very, very successful podcast called Pre-Real, and it's already being listened to in over 60 countries. And with that, I'm so excited to have as my guest today on today's show, James Prendamano. Welcome, James, to the show. James, that was our new little musical intro there on the show that I hadn't heard until today.
That's a heck of an intro, Jay. Wow. I've got to live up to this now. Gosh.
Well, I guarantee you that you're going to want to go back and listen to this show just for the intro. Well, James, you've got all kinds of experiences we just, talked about. And, you've got a lot of experience raising private money. And since this is now called Raising Private Money Show, let's talk about private money, and then we'll get into what your crystal ball says about this crazy, chaotic market that we are in and what you see coming around the corner. First of all, let's be clear. First of all, when we say private money, we're talking about doing business with individuals like you or me. We're not talking about institutional money. So, James, what got you into borrowing private money? How did it all start?
Well, I would say necessity is the mother of all invention. That's a famous quote, right? So when you're doing deals and you find yourself in a position where, especially in the beginning, if you don't have a proven track record, and the climate and the markets are not just so, it's tough sometimes to unlock that institutional money. So we found that when you have the right deals and you've got the right team and the experience lined up behind it, private money just became the natural place to go to get these things funded. So, essentially it was out of need, to be candid.
Well, you know what, James? You and I have got the same exact experience. The first 6 years that I was in business, from 2003 to 2009, and my focus is single family residential. I do commercial as well. I've done shopping centers, but the focus has been single family houses. And I remember in January 2009, I had been in this business for 6 years, and I was using traditional institutional money, banks funding my real estate deals, and I lost my line of credit. And like you just said, it was necessity. I mean, I lost my line of credit and I had deals under contract, and I just had to start asking my fellow real estate investors, how are you funding your deals? They told me about private money, and there we went. So when you first started using private money out of necessity, how did you go about locating people to be your private lenders?
So it's interesting. We had the same experience back after the '08 crash. We prepared for it. We saw it coming. On the real estate side, we typically see these things a year and a half before they're reported. So we knew it was coming. We understood what was happening in the market. I also had lined up several lines of credit that were collateralized by real estate. Some of them were first position, some of them were second position, but they were great lines of credit, no balance, never used them because we were preparing for that day when we knew defaulted notes were going to be the rage. That was just the natural progression of what had to happen. And same experience, Jay. They shut our lines of credit off. Not much of an explanation other than it's a top-down policy, which in retrospect, I guess I understood the mantra of the banks at the time. They didn't have much of a choice, as painful as it was in the moment. So here we are, and we're looking to transact. We're looking to take this next step in our careers and move a little bit into the equity side more while we were building the brokerage business. And what we found was through hard money lenders, believe it or not, that's where we first started to make the connections on the private money side. We had done a number of deals with hard money. And after those deals get rolling and you start to build a bit of a relationship and you get to the money behind the conduits or the brokers connecting you to the hard money, it was an opportunity for us to just build those relationships and talk about perhaps different pathways moving forward. So for us, it was, again, the credit lines were shut, and it was we still had great business deals that made all the sense in the world. And after taking down a number of hard money deals, I mean, we're talking 16 plus 2, 18 plus 4. These were expensive deals. That's how we initially met some of the investors, and some of them we had in a book of business on the brokerage side, but we hadn't explored the private money option. And the deals were still there. So we said, let's just start opening the discussion here and start communicating and talking about opportunities that we have in front of us, and see if there wasn't a better way for us to do this than the hard money.
You just made an excellent point by mentioning the kind of interest rates and points that you were paying for hard money. I think you mentioned 16% interest, and then you had points or origination fees of either 2% or 4%. And just put that in contrast to private money and the kind of interest that we pay. Right now, I pay my private lenders 8% in first position, 10% in second position. And, one question that I'm getting in this market is, well, Jay, do you see interest rates going up as far as what you're going to be paying private lenders, since all the rest of the interest rates are going up? And the answer is no. And here's why. Private money interest, the amount that we pay, is dependent on what we offer, right? So, the traditional way, James, as you know, of borrowing money for real estate is you go to the, you go to the institutional money, you go to the bank, or you get on your hands and knees and you put your hands underneath your chin and you say, please give me a mortgage. Please give me a mortgage. Please fund my deal. And, in this world of private money that you and I are talking about, is we're not chasing, we're not begging, we're not selling. We're actually offering a mortgage. We're not trying to talk anybody into giving us a mortgage. We're actually offering a mortgage. People ask me all the time, they say, Jay, how do you have millions and millions and millions of dollars of private money available to fund your deals and you never ask for money? And the answer is very, very simple. And that is, I put on my teacher hat and I teach people, individuals, what private money is, how they can get high rates of return, safely and securely. So, James, I know you have experienced the same thing. I mean, it's 180-degree shift on versus begging for a mortgage versus what you're offering an opportunity to people. What's your comment on that?
So without a doubt, the end result is you do get to set terms, fair marketable terms. Of course, it has to be equitable for the investor. But what I think is critical here is understanding the realities that sometimes on the ground we don't see quite clearly. And by that, I mean, as a deal maker, oftentimes we're chasing, right? We're feeling like if I just had access to the capital, if I just had access to the money. I know there's a lot of young deal makers out there, and they could be young in age or young in their career, that don't quite understand that once you have the deal, if you have a solid business plan and you've got the experience and you have the deal, that's the holy grail. It's not the other way around. And it took me a decade and a half to understand that. We project our issues onto the situation, right? We don't have the capital, but we have the deal. Ooh, how are we going to approach this? How are we going to be able to unlock that capital? And when you've got the deal and you've got the experience and you have the sound business plan, you really can set terms, of course, within reason. And of course, they have to be equitable for both sides, because we want these to be ongoing relationships, Jay, right? We don't do this once with an investor and we're done. Most of us, as we hit our stride, we do this over and over and over, and recycling money with the same investors time and time again. And for them, the challenge is finding those safe deals, finding a reliable deal maker that understands the markets and can shepherd their money through in the safest way possible, which to me has always been and always will be real estate. So it's a matter of, I think, optics and perception and understanding that you are the asset. If you've got those deals and you know what you're doing, obviously, in the marketplace, you really can set the terms here and make a deal that works for both parties. The hard money, it has a place. Institutional money, of course, has a place, but the private money really is where it's at.
James, what kind of an impact as far as profit? In other words, what kind of profits have you made on deals because you had the private money and the relationships in place? And, there's a keyword right there. A synonym for private money is relationship money, either relationship that you've already got in place, or, you learn how to start growing your network so you have additional new relationships that you can nurture and start doing business with. But just what kind of an impact has private money had on your business?
It's impossible to quantify, candidly. When you're doing deals and you're taking the hard money stuff, and again, there's a place for it. But when you're pro-forming your deal and you're looking at 18 plus 4, I think, is the highest we ever paid. And I remember it was a savvy investor had said, well, usury is 24%. I'm doing you a favor here at 18 plus 4. That's a partner. That's almost a quarter of your deal that you're paying out. And there's all sorts of guarantees and confessions of judgments and all sorts of ugly paperwork you sign, when at least we were signing when we were taking those deals. So when you realize there's this world of folks out there that don't have an in to real estate, they don't have the experience, they don't understand deals the way we do, it's tough to put a value on that, Jay. And I think that we sell ourselves short as deal makers far too often. And when you recognize that there is a massive amount of money on the sidelines, always, good market, bad market, there are always folks looking for safe places to put their money that's going to outperform whatever fund or opportunity that they're currently in. That's generally just a few points. So it's really, it's hard to put a dollar on it, because it's as big as your deals can be. We've done multi-million dollar shopping centers, and we've done $150,000 homes. The percentages are where you win, right? The difference between the non-traditional lending sources we're talking about, or private money, and the ability to scale and continue to renew these lines and these opportunities as you go from deal to deal. It's as big as your bandwidth and your deal will allow.
James, you just mentioned that, we're offering private lenders an opportunity. And my question is, where else can an individual that's got investment capital or retirement funds or whatever, where else can they put their money safely and securely and get the kinds of rates of return that we pay them, even at 8%? The reason I raise that question is the local bank right now, even with the increase in interest rates that we've been seeing in this market now for some time, which are crazy. Anyway, right now, I just checked it last week. Every Thursday, USA Today newspaper publishes on the front page of the money section the national average certificate of deposit yields that banks and credit unions are paying in the United States. And as of last Thursday's publication, James, the average 12-month certificate of deposit yield in the local bank is 0.97%. Less than 1% is to what the banks and credit unions are paying out. And you come along and, and you offer someone 8%. Well, my lands, that's 8 times more than they can get, just by putting it in some kind of, traditional investment like that. James, what advice would you give to someone that's a real estate investor? Maybe they're new, maybe they have never raised private money, and they're looking to raise private money. Given your experience, what advice would you give them on how to start?
Do you want my honest answer? Speak to Jay.
Sure.
I tell him to speak to you. I'm 25 years in, and I learned more in an hour with you than I have in quite some time. So I really enjoyed our conversation. But short of speaking to you, I would tell them that mindset, again, I don't mean to harp on it, but I really think that it's so important. There are some opportunities now as rates are rapidly increasing where you can go get 3.5% from your bank if you tie your money up in different opportunities that they're offering. But those opportunities are for a moment in time. It's typically for a 10 or 11 month stretch, and they'll recast based on where rates are. This is a cycle, folks. It goes up and it goes down, and it comes back up and it goes back down. We forget that when we're in it because the stakes are so high. I get that. But it's important to keep an eye on tomorrow and understand what tomorrow is going to look like. And it's important for your investors to keep an eye on that also. So if we start to get pushback from investors saying, oh, I can go get 3.5 or 4% in the bank and tie it up for 10 months, absolutely, God bless, go do it. But when you call me next time, you won't be at top of the list, right? This is something we've done through good markets and bad. It's something that we've been blessed and we've delivered on time and time again. And it's, build those relationships, understand you're the value, be fair in your offerings to your private investors. Make sure that you've got a rock solid business plan. Make sure that your fiduciary is in the right place, that their money had damn well be as important, if not more important, than your money in any transaction. That's the way we've always looked at it. We've been very conservative, and you can be conservative and do really, really well.
Well, James, I appreciate the shout out on telling them to talk to Jay if you want to start out on private money. So let's give away a fantastic, valuable gift here. I'm so excited. I just finished writing my brand new private money guide, which is called 7 Reasons Why Private Money Will Skyrocket Your Real Estate Business and Help You Build Incredible Wealth. This will get you on the fast track to private money and put you in a position very, very quickly to where you don't have to worry about missing out on any deals or opportunities because you didn't have the funding. You can download this private money guide for free at www.jayconner, and I'm with an ER, not an OR, www.jayconner.com/money guide. That's Jay Conner, JayConner.com/money guide. And that will get you on the fast track to private money. James, I briefly mentioned, but I want to dive into it with you now. There's a lot of concern. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anxiety out in the marketplace right now. And rightfully so. I mean, we've got inflation at a 40-year high, and that's using the rates that the government has put out, which I do not believe. I think inflation is even much higher than what's being published. You've got mortgage interest rates that have skyrocketed. And of course, I get it. I mean, one of the only ways they can control inflation is to slow down the spending by raising interest rates. You got real estate values that have shot up 25% in 1 year, and now this year it's pulling back. Where do you see this real estate market going, say through the rest of this year and right on into through 2023. Is there cause for concern? What do people do to prepare themselves in order to invest the wisest?
Yeah, so there's cause for concern if you're not prepared. If you are prepared, then this where's it viewing this as the greatest buying opportunity of our life. We think this is going to be a bigger opportunity than we saw through 2008 up to 2010, 11, even some of 12. But you've got to be prepared, right? The key for us is sustainability, making sure that you can get to the other side. We started to caution clients a year and a half, 2 years ago. If you were going into all the rage was the multifamilies then, right? How many doors did you have and how many deals were you getting invested in? And, I've never seen a pro forma that didn't look good on first blush. And as you start to pour through these pro formas and you start to really take a deep dive, that's where you can start to see some of the cracks and some of the weaknesses there. The ability to secure debt at a fixed rate for a specified period of time that you believe will get you to the other side of the rainbow is the key. For us, we believe this is a cycle. Yes, this is going to be one of the more difficult ones to get through. But again, that breeds opportunity. And if you have access to capital and fixed rate debt for a significant amount of time, significant is 3, 4, 5 years, we believe that comfortably gets you to the other side of the rainbow, if you will. Man, this is it. This is the time that you should be doubling down. At least that's what we're doing. We're doubling down on the opportunities here. When we spoke on my show, Jay, I had said off air before we started, I didn't know if there was a better time in history to have you on the show, because finding this alternative for financing is going to be everything. The banks are going to continue to tighten up. We think the bigger banks are going to sit on the sidelines for a bit. The small to mid cap banks are going to experience a bit of pain as those deposits start to drop. The COVID money has burned off. Those deposits start to drop in the banks, yet the banks still have that outstanding debt. And it'll be interesting to see how they navigate when those notes come due. A lot of 1, 3, 5 year money was issued 2 and 3 years ago. That's going to put you dead smack in the middle of this thing. And you're going to be seeking ways to refi out, even if you're a performing note, even if you have a performing asset. There was a period of time not too long ago where there was no debt. We were talking to some syndicators about 6 months ago, and they said, "Oh, the worst thing that happens is we don't quite hit our numbers, and the rents aren't quite where we think they'll be, and maybe we can't pull as much equity out as we thought." And I said, "Guys, the worst thing is you can't get debt, institutional debt. Right? You can't get refinanced out. That's the worst case. This offers an amazing opportunity to line those exits up and have the cash available so that you can replace it at a reasonable rate. You can continue to execute on that business plan and get to the other side of the rainbow."
Yeah, James, you said just a moment ago, prepare yourself. Well, the best way I know to prepare yourself for a huge landslide of being able to pick and choose which foreclosures you want to buy is by getting the money lined up with private money. I remember back in 2007, 8, and 9, when I lost my lines of credit, you had all these foreclosures coming. And of course, this is a whole different scenario as to why all these foreclosures are now opening up this year. I mean, foreclosures year to date right now are 187% up above year to date last year. And so I remember my first year of losing my line of credit at the bank, James, I tripled my business. And how was it that I tripled my business when the banks shut down and were not loaning money? It was because of the private money that I was able to line up. And then I was able to pick and choose which deals it was that I wanted to do. That's how we tripled our business, by having access to the capital. And I can tell you, quite frankly, having access to the capital is actually more important than the actual interest rate or the points that you're going to pay. But again, in this world of private money, it's you that's determining what rates you're going to pay by setting the rate. You set the rate, you set the term. But yeah, as you just said, James, in every market where there's chaos, there is just as much opportunity. But you got to prepare yourself, right? And you also said a moment ago, James, you may be having, you had that 3-year note or that 5-year note, and the banks may be calling that due. Well, guess what? You can also use private money to refinance existing properties that you have in case they need to be refinanced. You're not using private money just for purchases, but you're also going to use it, for refinancing. Any other thoughts, James, on the market that we're looking at?
No, just the cash is going to be king. Like you said, if you have access to the capital, the sellers of this short paper that is coming, as you noted, foreclosures are already up 187%. I think we have a long way to go, short of a massive pivot by the Fed. I know in London, we saw a bit of a pivot, and it'll be interesting how long the Fed can resist following suit there, which would just push this problem further down the line and compound it exponentially. But short of that, I think we're in for a couple of years where if you have access to that cash, that's what folks are going to want to know on the other side of the table that are short selling and writing this bad debt off is, can you pick it up? Do you have the cash? Do you have proof of funds? Can you close quickly? And if it's yes, 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 you're up to the top of the list and you can pick and choose those deals.
I can't think of a better reason why someone would get involved in private money right now in order to get ready. James, I want to wrap up our final segment here on raising private money, talking about your mindset. You have done some huge deals. So there's one mindset for single family houses and investing in those. There's an entirely different mindset for doing commercial deals, much, much bigger deals. If someone's never done that or is having trouble getting their mind wrapped around doing that size of a deal, but want to, how do you speak with someone on going from that $200,000, $300,000 single family house to a multi-million-dollar commercial project?
So without a doubt, educate yourself. There are so many tools available today that weren't available just 20 years ago when we were doing it. There's a famous interview with Elon Musk, and the interviewer asked, how did you learn, or how did you get into this place where you're sending rockets up into space? And he had said that he learned watching YouTube. And the interviewer chuckled, and he was, obviously there's a lot more behind it than that, but he was pretty stoic in his response. There's so much information available out there. Take advantage of it. Go hustle. Put the grind in. Find a mentor. This community is amazing. If you reach out to 10 investors, chances are you're going to get 2 or 3 of them to sit down and have lunch, or at least jump on a Zoom and help you out. There's a lot of good folks out there that want to see, the next run of people to get in the game. That's the way it works. Pass that knowledge on. So I think that's the single most important thing. Don't be afraid of making the leap because of the size of the transaction. Just make sure that you're educated. Make sure that you understand, and maybe for the first few, you have someone in the deal that's been here before, that understands what's around the corner, that understands how to build as bulletproof of a model as you can to get to that other side of the rainbow. But that's it. If you've done your homework and you've got a solid business plan and you're going to put the hustle in, there should be nothing that stops you.
James, you recently launched your podcast called Pre-Real, and I had such the pleasure of being a guest on your podcast recently. Your website is www.prereal, that's prereal.com, prereal.com. James, talk a moment about this podcast, what the focus is, and I mean, you're already, being heard in over 60 countries now. Why did you start the podcast, and talk about it?
So for us, it was a couple of things. I was very uncomfortable doing this, to be candid. Terrible fear of speaking. Hated to do the videos, hated to make the content. I had all this knowledge kind of rattling around up in here, but it was very difficult for me to articulate it and to get on a show. And when coronavirus hit, it just felt like the perfect opportunity for us to find a way to stay in touch with our customers, our clients, folks that we've done deals with for decades now. And it was a way for us to get some of the local folks on and get their message out about what was happening in the community. And, we saw this as a personal challenge, but also a benefit for the community. And it just kind of took off from there. Again, you have all of the concerns. Who's going to come on my show? Nobody wants to talk to me. What am I going to talk about? And if you just have a conversation about real estate, if you're passionate about it, it's easy. When I'm in my subject matter, Jay, I can go like we're doing now, right? So for me, it was a way to get out of my comfort zone and provide a conduit for folks in my community to connect and get their message out during COVID. And it just took off from there because, again, the community is amazing. Folks are so willing to help and so willing to participate. And we're booked out now for months because people just want to get their word out and their message out. And it was a great opportunity. It's something that was really hard for me to do, but I could say at this point, it was the single most profound thing that I have done in my 25 years in the business.
Is prereal.com the best way for someone to connect with you?
Yeah, they just jump on the website, prereal.com. All our information is on there and you can get in touch with me or anyone from the team.
That's awesome. James, thank you so much for taking the time to come here and be on Raising Private Money. What an inspiration you are, man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Jay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Well, there you have it, my friend. Another episode of Raising Private Money. And I need your help. I need you to think of someone that you could share this episode with that would really make a difference in their real estate investing career or their interest in real estate investing. What an amazing guest that I've had on today. So please share the episode with someone else. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure and click that bell so you don't miss out on any other fantastic shows that we have. Be sure to follow us if you are on iTunes. We love the ratings and the reviews. So we look forward to having you join us right back here on the next episode of Raising Private Money.
Are you feeling inspired by the knowledge you gained in this episode? Then head over to jconner.com/moneyguide. That's jconner.com/moneyguide and download your free guide that shares 7 reasons why private money will skyrocket your real estate investing business right now. Again, that's jconner.com/moneyguide to get your free guide. We'll see you next time on Raising Private Money with Jay Conner.
I don't know where Jay went. He disappeared. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I got kicked off. The only thing it says is your browser is unable to play the video clip.
Wow.
So whatever the video clip was, I missed it.
Oh, no. It was
It was a
James,
good
tell
one.
him how awesome it was.
It was. I mean, wow. Like, I have to be honest. I was sitting there going, I got to get with my CMO and tell him to get his ass in gear. Jay's got a hell of a promo here. We got to up our game, man. This is good stuff.
What was it, Scott?
Well, I would show you, but you'll get knocked off again. So when we're at the end of recording or your intro, I'll play it again so you can.
Okay, that's very good. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, and James, if you want any help, we're happy to help.
I appreciate you. This was great. And Jay, I do need to get with you because I haven't shared much on the brokerage side what we're doing, but I've got an idea that's scalable. We were just actually notified that we're going to be on the cover of Real Estate Weekly. They gave us the cover story for the exciting new brokerages episode. And it's an opportunity for us to get out there at 72,000 members, get the publication, and it puts us on a national platform. So I do want to get with you when we can, Jay, about seeing if we can't pull some money together for some of these bigger deals.
Right. Well, what I'm doing right now, James, is yeah, you're the first. You're the first host that called me Papa. Anyway, in the text thread. Anyway, so you've got my cell number. I've got your cell number. We've already got each other locked in. So yeah, just shoot me a text when you want to get together, and we'll schedule a Zoom or something.
All right. Yeah, Papa's a term of endearment that I use. For folks, so.
Hey, just don't call me Grandpapa. Anyway, James, if you'll hang on.
Line.
Yeah, so I was going to say, James, if you'll hang on, I'm going to get you and Scott to brainstorm on a subject line for the email open. And in the meantime, I'm going to start writing the new intro since I now know what we talked about.
What are you thinking, James?
So this is an email blast that goes out to
Jay's audience, telling them to watch the show or listen to the show.
So what are the hot button issues now, right? Inflation, interest rates, trepidation in the market. I don't know, something catchy along the lines of
why this is the best time to be in real estate investing.
Yeah, it was obviously a 30-minute gig here, but we did cover all the basics to look around the corner and know what's coming and put yourself in position to not only survive but thrive.
How about the coming boom in real estate? Because that is what nobody is expecting, right?
Yeah, something along those lines. It's time to thrive, not survive. Something along those lines, I think, would capture the essence of what we talked about. How to thrive, not survive in the
well, if we keep it on the topic of private money, something along the lines of how to find or get private money in this chaotic market.
How to thrive in real estate with private money?
Well, I want to talk about the current chaotic market.
I don't know how long it could be, but how private money can help you thrive in the current market. Something along those lines.
How about use the fear tactic? Is private money drying up in this chaotic market?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Because that's what they're thinking. They're thinking the money's going away. Is private money drying up or going away in this chaotic market?
In today's chaotic market.
In today's chaotic market. I like that's my favorite.
Is private money drying?
Huh?
That's why you get the big bucks, baby.
That's right. Right. Is private money drying up in today's chaotic markets?
I love it.
Yeah. Got it.
All right, James, thank you so much. I'm going to work on the new intro.
Okay. Am I done here, or do you need me?
You're done.
Free to go.
You're a superstar. We appreciate you a lot.
Appreciate you guys.
And we'll send you the links and the images and everything once we've got them done in a few weeks.
Okay. Best of luck, guys. And Jay, I will be reaching out to you. Okay.
All right. I'll be looking for your text.
All right, brother. Be well.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Okay. Okay. I'm working on the intro.
Sir, I need to go to the other link.
Okay,
Yes,
thanks,
and
Ruben.
yes, yeah.
I'll turn it off.
Thank you.
You have the noisiest pen I've ever heard.
Okay. Private money. Prendamano, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Oh, mercy. All right, I'm ready.
All right. 5, 4, 3.
Is private money going away? Is private money actually drying up in this chaotic market? Is the biggest opportunity in real estate right around the corner? Well, if so, how do you prepare for it? Well, my guest and I are going to answer these questions in today's episode. My guest is James Prendamano, and he has used private money to close over 1,500 real estate deals. He's used private money to fund residential, apartments, and mixed-use buildings. So if you're concerned about getting funding for your deals in today's chaotic market, don't miss a second of this episode. Let's dive in right now.
Good.
All
End the
right.
broadcast.
Yes.